Welcome, dear listeners, to another chilling episode of Wicked Whispers, where the shadows come alive and nightmares whisper their secrets.
The small town of Salem, Massachusetts, is forever etched into history due to the tragic events of the Salem Witch Trials of 1692. The trials resulted in the execution of 20 people, most of whom were women, and the imprisonment of many more. The dark legacy of this period has left an indelible mark on Salem, and it is said that the spirits of those who suffered unjustly still roam the town's historic grounds. Tonight, we delve into the haunting tales of the Salem Witch Trials location, exploring the eerie encounters and chilling stories that continue to keep the past alive. Prepare to step into a world where history and the supernatural intertwine, and the whispers of the past echo through the centuries. In the late 17th century, Salem was a Puritan settlement characterized by strict religious beliefs and a close-knit community. The fear of witchcraft and the devil was pervasive, and this fear culminated in the infamous Salem Witch Trials. In 1692, a group of young girls in Salem village began exhibiting strange behaviors and claiming to be possessed by the devil. They accused several local women of witchcraft, setting off a wave of hysteria and paranoia. The trials were marked by a lack of concrete evidence and a reliance on spectral evidence, testimony that the spirit or specter of the accused was seen committing witchcraft. Despite the dubious nature of these accusations, 20 people were executed, and many more were imprisoned. The trials eventually ended, but the scars left on the community were deep and lasting. One of the most infamous locations associated with the Salem Witch Trials is Gallows Hill, where the accused witches were hanged. The hill, now a quiet residential area, is said to be haunted by the spirits of those who met their tragic end there. Residents and visitors alike have reported eerie sensations and ghostly encounters on the hill, especially during the anniversary of the executions. One evening, a local historian named Emily decided to visit Gallows Hill to conduct research for a book she was writing. As she walked up the hill, she felt an overwhelming sense of sadness and dread. The air grew cold, and she heard faint whispers carried by the wind. Suddenly, she saw a group of shadowy figures standing in a circle, their forms barely visible in the dim light. Emily's heart raced as she realized she was witnessing the spirits of the condemned. The figures faded away as quickly as they had appeared, leaving Emily with an unforgettable experience that reinforced her belief in the hauntings of Gallows Hill. Bridget Bishop was the first person to be executed during the Salem Witch Trials. She was a well-known figure in Salem, often described as outspoken and independent, a combination that made her a target for accusations of witchcraft. Bridget was hanged on June 10, 1692, and her spirit is said to linger in the town to this day. One night, a group of paranormal investigators decided to explore the area around Bridget Bishop's former home. As they set up their equipment, they noticed a sudden drop in temperature and a sense of being watched. One of the investigators, Mark, felt a cold hand brush against his arm. Turning around, he saw a faint, translucent figure of a woman dressed in 17th century clothing. The figure's eyes met his, and he felt a wave of sorrow and injustice wash over him. The apparition then disappeared, leaving Mark and his team convinced that they had encountered the ghost of Bridget Bishop. The Witch House, the only structure still standing in Salem with direct ties to the witch trials, was the home of Judge Jonathan Corwin, who presided over the trials. Today, it serves as a museum, but it is also known for its paranormal activity. Visitors and staff have reported strange occurrences, including disembodied voices, footsteps, and the feeling of being watched. During one after-hours investigation, museum curator Sarah heard the distinct sound of a gavel striking wood, echoing through the empty house. She followed the sound to Judge Corwin's former study, where she felt an icy breeze despite the closed windows. As she turned to leave, she saw the faint outline of a man in a judge's robe, his face stern and unyielding. The figure vanished as quickly as it had appeared, leaving Sarah with a profound sense of the lingering presence of Judge Corwin and the weight of his role in the witch trials. The Old Burying Point Cemetery, one of the oldest cemeteries in the United States, is the final resting place for many of Salem's early settlers, including figures associated with the witch trials. It is no surprise that this historic site is also a hotspot for paranormal activity. Visitors often report seeing ghostly figures and hearing strange noises, especially near the graves of those involved in the trials. One autumn evening, a tourist named Jane decided to take a solitary walk through the cemetery. As she approached the grave of Reverend Nicholas Noyes, a key figure in the witch trials, she heard faint chanting. Looking around, she saw a group of shadowy figures standing around the grave, their voices blending into an eerie harmony. Jane watched in fascination and fear as the figures slowly faded into the night, leaving her with the unnerving feeling that she had witnessed a spectral reenactment of the past. Proctor's Ledge, recently confirmed as the actual site of the hangings, is another location steeped in tragedy and paranormal activity. The site, now marked with a memorial, is said to be haunted by the spirits of those who were executed there. Visitors report feeling a heavy, oppressive atmosphere and experiencing strange sensations and sightings. One summer night, a group of friends decided to visit Proctor's Ledge after hearing about its haunted reputation. As they stood at the memorial, they felt an intense chill despite the warm weather. One of the friends, Alex, saw a shadowy figure hanging from a tree, swaying gently in the breeze. The apparition was so real that Alex could see the details of the figure's face, contorted in pain. The figure disappeared when Alex blinked, but the experience left him convinced that the spirits of Proctor's Ledge were still present, reliving their final moments. The Witch Dungeon Museum, a popular tourist attraction in Salem, recreates the trials with live performances and exhibits. However, it is also known for its paranormal activity. Staff and visitors alike have reported hearing the sound of chains rattling, disembodied voices, and seeing shadowy figures moving through the exhibits. One afternoon, a visitor named Lucy was taking a guided tour of the museum when she felt a cold hand grip her shoulder. She turned around to find no one there, but the sensation was so real that it left her shaken. Later, as she explored the replica of the dungeon, she saw a faint figure of a woman dressed in old-fashioned clothing, her face filled with fear and desperation. The figure seemed to reach out for help before disappearing into the walls. Lucy left the museum with a profound sense of having witnessed the lingering spirits of those who suffered during the trials. The Hawthorne Hotel, located in the heart of Salem, is another hotspot for paranormal activity. Named after the famous author Nathaniel Hawthorne, the hotel has a long history and is known for its ghostly guests. Rooms 325 and 612 are particularly notorious for strange occurrences, including flickering lights, unexplained noises, and the feeling of being watched. One night, a guest named David was staying in room 325 when he was awakened by the sound of whispering. He sat up and saw the faint outline of a woman standing at the foot of his bed. The woman's face was pale and sad, and she seemed to be silently pleading with him. As David reached out to turn on the light, the figure vanished. The experience left him convinced that the Hawthorne Hotel was truly haunted by the spirits of Salem's past. The Salem Witch Trials Memorial, dedicated to the memory of the 20 victims of the trials, is a place of reflection and remembrance. However, it is also known for its paranormal activity. Visitors often report hearing phantom voices and feeling a sense of sadness and loss. One late afternoon, a visitor named Rachel was paying her respects at the memorial when she heard a soft whispering around her. She couldn't make out the words, but the voices seemed to be pleading for justice and peace. As she walked along the memorial, she saw fleeting shadows and felt an overwhelming sense of sorrow. Rachel left the site with a deep respect for the victims and a belief that their spirits still linger, seeking acknowledgement and understanding. The haunting tales and eerie encounters associated with the Salem Witch Trials location serve as a powerful reminder of the dark chapter in history that took place there. The spirits of those who suffered unjustly continue to linger, their presence felt by those who visit the historic sites. The legacy of the trials is a testament to the dangers of mass hysteria and the importance of justice and compassion. The town of Salem, with its rich history and enduring legends, remains a place where the past and present coexist. The stories of the hauntings add a layer of mystique and intrigue, drawing visitors from around the world who seek to understand the events that transpired and to connect with the spirits of the past. The haunting of the Salem Witch Trials location is more than just ghost stories. it is a reflection of the enduring impact of one of the most tragic events in American history. The spirits that are said to roam the historic grounds are a reminder of the injustices that were committed and the lives that were lost. As you explore the haunted sites of Salem, you are not just encountering the supernatural, you are also stepping into a chapter of history that continues to resonate to this day. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, the haunting tales of Salem serve as a powerful narrative of the human capacity for fear, injustice, and the quest for redemption. The echoes of the past are ever present, reminding us to remember and honor the victims of the Salem Witch Trials and to learn from the lessons of history.